Oh, what up? How you guys doing out there today? This is your boy Roto Beast. I'm here to present you my NBA morning shoot around for Thursday, December 5th. If you're new to this channel, please make sure and click the subscribe button below. This way you can watch all my NBA, NFL, and MLB videos. If you haven't come and checked out our website here at dfscheatsheet.com, you're absolutely missing out. We have all the tools to help you compete with the pros day in and day out, including a complete optimizer, tons of content, daily Fanduel and Draftkings cash signups. Hey, we're truly a one-stop shop for all your DFS needs. So make sure to come check out the site here at dfscheatsheet.com. So we got a solid little four-game slate. There's actually a couple really good games on this slate. Plenty of fantasy relevancy here. Definitely there's a bunch of spots that we can hit. With a smaller slate, only 4 games today, I'm going to quickly just go game by game and talk about some guys that I think are in play, and we'll kind of go about that way today. Real quick before we do jump into it, if you guys don't mind, please take that quick second, click the like button down below. Helps me out. Really appreciate that from you guys. Yeah, let's go. So, first game, we got Philadelphia going into Washington, 7.5 point spread. I thought it would be a little bit more of a spread in this game. Philadelphia, man, they're coming in. They're starting. They're pretty healthy outside of Josh Richardson, who is out. They got their other 4 starters. They get a matchup against a Washington team who's pretty banged up. And the thing about it is with Washington is they're not playing defense. I mean, it is what it is. And they're just running up and down, track meet kind of game, trying to outscore people. This is a great spot for the 76ers. Basically, all their starters, man. I mean, they got, you start with Joel Embiid with no Thomas Bryant. I think his matchup's a little bit easier. 10.7, I think is the price tag. I wish it was a little bit lower, but I definitely understand the price tag. I think this is a spot where he could really excel. Al Horford, Ben Simmons at 9,000, Tobias Harris at 7,600. All these guys are in play in this very up tempo game. And then you got Korkmaz at bare minimum price tag at 3,500. He's been starting, been playing very well. If he's going to continue to be in that starting role, I mean, the guy's a really good value play. You kind of just put him in your cash games and move on. That's something that we got to kind of wait for news-wise, but I'm pretty sure that he's going to be right there in the thick of things in that starting lineup. And then on the flip side for the Wizards, we talked about they're banged up. They got a lot of minutes to go around. Hachimura, he played very well the other day with Thomas Bryant out. Bertan, 6,000. Isaiah Thomas has a little bit of upside, GPP play. Bonga really disappointed the other day, but he was in the starting spot at 3,600. I want to see his minutes increase a little bit. If we hear anything about a little bit of a minutes increase, I think that you can look at him as another really good value play. And then Bradley Beal, man, 9,900. If they're in any game, if they're competitive at all, it is because of Bradley Beal. I mean, there's not really no way to beat around the bush with that. Definitely they're the best player. And then you can look at a couple guys off the bench. You can look at Ish Smith. He's been playing pretty well. You can look at Troy Brown at 4,100. You can also throw in Jordan McRae also. All these guys are pretty cheap. They're probably a little bit more GPP plays, but definitely got to consider him in play. Ish Smith is kind of borderline cash just because he has been getting some minutes coming off the bench. Moving on to the next game, we got Denver going into New York. I mean, you start with Jokic, 8,900. I feel is just too cheap for Jokic. This is a spot where he could crush. The Knicks, they have a one big guy in Mitchell Robinson, but he is coming off the bench. He's going to start the game going against a Taj Gibson or Julius Randle, both guys underpriced. I really like Jokic in this spot. I think it's a very fair price tag for him. Then you got Paul Millsap, 6,000. I think he's a solid play. Jamal Murray at 7,900. The guy's been playing very well. I think he is in play, but he's more of a GBP play for me at this price tag because he is a little bit more scoring dependent. Will Barton, 6,900, definitely in play. Gary Harris, 4,800. Let me tell you something. Gary Harris, the numbers are down right now, and you're probably like, why are you talking about Gary Harris? This guy was almost 7,000 all last year, right there between 6 and 7,000. He's just not shooting the ball well, but the minutes are there. So you got to really consider him. I just think this is a buy low opportunity and a good spot against the Knicks. They are a 9 point spread as well. Couple guys I think you can look at off the bench. You can look at Mason Plumlee, possibly Jeremiah Grant, and then throw in a little Monte Morris as well as the first guard off of the bench. On the Knicks side of things, I mean, they're banged up. We got to kind of wait on this injury news, see what happens with Nicotina and with Marcus Morris. You can throw in Julius Randle at 7,200. I think he's a pretty good price tag right there. RJ Barrett at 5,700. Taj Gibson, if he's going to be in that starting lineup at 3,900, I think there is some definite upside on that price tag. We got to see what happens with his minutes. And then on the bench, I mean, you can look at a guy like Portis, 3,900 as a GPP play. Mitchell Robinson is a GPP play at 5,800, and then even Dennis Smith at 4,100 been starting the past couple games. You can throw him in there as well if he does get the start again. Moving on, we got Houston going into Toronto. This game should be very competitive. The Raptors are a 1 point favorite in this game. We'll start on the Rockets side of things. It's looking like Tyson Chandler is going to get the start at 3,600. I think that, I'm sorry. Capella, I don't know why we have him projected as a starter. If their news comes out that Capella ends up getting sad or something, then definitely you can look at Chandler. Otherwise, if Capella's in there, you can look at him as a GPP play as well. PJ Tucker getting a bulk load of minutes at 5,300. I mean, he gives you a decent floor. I don't know how much the upside's there, but the floor definitely is because of the minutes that he plays. Russell Westbrook, 9,200. Russell Brick, that's what they're calling him right now. Went 7 for 30 the other day. 9,200 is just so cheap for Russell Westbrook, and the guy does have triple-double upside, even with what James Harden been doing. So I think he's in play. Ben McLemore at 3,700, playing very well right now. I think he's a good value play that you could look to play today. And then coming off the bench, I mean, like I said, I think Capella will be in that starting lineup. I'm not really looking at none of these bench guys for the Rockets. I think they're going to play their starter. I think his game is going to be competitive. On the flip side, things for Raptors, I mean, you got Marc Gasol at 5,500. This is dirt cheap for Marc Gasol. Kyle Lowry, 8,000. Siakam, 9,000. I mean, all of these guys are pretty cheap their starters are pretty cheap outside of Van Fleet at 8,000. I don't know how I feel about Van Fleet with Kyle Lowry back on the inflated price tag. But, I mean, I think that you definitely could look at him as a GPP play. OG Anunoby, 5,300. I think that he's a guy, you can look at as well. Coming off the bench, Butcher at bare minimum price tag. I think that he's a GPP play. Rondé Hollis-Jefferson, if he's going to get some run, at 5,000. Ibaka is back in the mix, so he's kind of taken away from Hollis-Jefferson. Both of those guys kind of take away from each other, meaning Hollis-Jefferson and Ibaka. So that's kind of a tough play with those guys kind of battling for minutes right there. For me, the main guys on the Raptors, I mean, like I said, it's probably Lowry, Siakam, and I mean, I think Marc Gasol is just too cheap. I mean, that's what's really standing out to me. Moving on to the final game, we got Phoenix going into New Orleans. Baines is a game-time decision. If Baines is out, then you continue to play Frank Kaminsky at 4,800. Check Diallo. He's getting some extra minutes at the big spot as well. 3,600, almost bare minimum price tag. Both of those guys are definitely firmly in play if Baines is out. Saric at 6,100 has been playing very well. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I like all of these starters for the Suns. Kelly Oubre 7,000, Rubio 7,500, Devin Booker 8,100. My biggest thing is I gotta wait on to see what happens with the big situation. Nonetheless, like I said, I like some of these Suns. On the flip side, you got the Pelicans. Derek Favors is game time decision. If he does play, I like this spot for him going against Frank Kaminsky. I think that he can definitely have a monster game here. We got to wait on that news. Lonzo Ball coming in, 5,800 is pretty inexpensive for him. Kind of laid a dud last game, but the game before is pretty productive. I think that you can really look at Lonzo in an up-tempo game against the Suns at 5,800. Brandon Ingram, 9,500. This is the most expensive I've ever seen Brandon Ingram before, but the guy's just been playing out of his mind to start the season. I mean, he's doing a little bit of everything. The guy is barely coming off of the floor. Strictly a GPP play just because the price is so high, but really in play for sure. JJ Redick at 4,900. I think that you could look at him. The minutes have been there. Drew Holiday, 8,300. I think he's a really good price tag in the up-tempo game against the Suns. I think my favorite player from the Pelicans is probably going to be Drew Holiday, on this particular slate. Coming off the bench, I think you can look at this guy Hayes. They've been giving him a little love, giving him a little run. But him and Okafor have been splitting those backup minutes. So if Favors does come back, it makes it a little bit more of a tough situation. So that's really where I'm at with this video. If you want a more in-depth analysis on today's slate, make sure to check out the site, dfsgsheet.com. And hey, good luck on our guys' contest, all right? Peace out.